Hello everybody. I'd like to look today at AutoCAD 2022. I'm very impressed with AutoCAD 2022 and specifically something that is to do with the arrays. The rectangular and the polar array is pretty simple and straightforward to understand. In a polar array you rotate or you array items around a center, a certain amount. You can choose the angle, whether they're rotated, and on a rectangular array it's also in 2 dimensions, in the X and the Y. The grips work as one would expect, and one can manipulate it quite easily, including shifting the base point so that one can array things nicely. But the path array is a very powerful array and a nice array to use, and very useful for stadia, auditoriums, pool fronts, wherever you've got nice curvy lines. Here's an arc and there's a spline. Just use 2 as an example. And what we'd like to do is we'd like to manipulate this array as we start working with it. Right, so the array works just like the other arrays to start with. You invoke the path array command. At the bottom of the screen there you'll see it asks you to select objects within the command line. One can then select the items that one would like to array. Might be multiple objects. Once they've been selected, the instruction turns to select the path curve. In this case the curve could be a polyline or arcs or splines. I'm selecting this curve, and immediately you'll see that unlike with the other arrays, there's a base point and there's a distance between items, but beyond that one doesn't have much control. So looking towards the end of the array over here, as I move the arrow along, it's not as if they're equispaced. They kind of approach the end and then drop off. So how do you know when you're exactly at the end? So you do have some options over here like measure and divide. Those could work. But let's have a look first of all just at the controls. Notice the path type, or the type of the array is indicated as path. That's usual. But when we get to the items, there's an actual item count. It specifies the number of items, or allow the number of items to be automatically calculated from the length of the path curve and the distance between items. Once this is untoggled, you will see that there is now an endpoint to the array where you can bring that to the end. And again, it doesn't exactly set that number. If you move this on a bit and then try the same thing, it's still not working. But as you push this along towards the end, it now sticks. So you're able to push these items along until it sticks, provided you've indicated the number of items. Turning it up to 9, you have to reduce the distance first, then add 9. There's a 9th and a 10th. And now you can push them to the end to be equispaced. So it's a very strange way of manipulating the array in comparison to the polar and the rectangular array, but still very useful. Of course, we've also got the measure options, which maintains the current item spacing when the path is edited, or when the number of items is edited through grips on the properties palette. Right, so either measure or divide. So you can maintain the current item spacing when the path is edited, or when the number of items is edited through grips on the properties palette. If you increase change the path, you can see how they maintain their spacing and they kind of flex. And that is then what is controlled by the measure or divide. There you can see if you divide, then they move with the curve when you edit the curve. It's an extremely powerful workflow or a tool with which you can very easily manipulate stadia, like I said, especially seating within stadiums or auditoriums. And the same tool also works for the path array for a spline. And again, you've got the number of items that you can set. Drag the path a bit shorter, say how many you'd like. And then increase the length to the end. Once you've done that, push it along. Drag them shorter. Enter the number you'd like and push them along until they hit the end. Use the divide or the measure tool. If you then edit the path, they will maintain an equispacing. Let's go with divide. Change the curve, and you can have them follow and manipulate as required. So I hope you've enjoyed this short instruction to show you how you can use the path array to array elements from the beginning of a curve right onto the end of the curve. Equispace is maybe the wrong wording to use when you are dealing with a spline because of the change in curvature. But also note how easy it is to manipulate that array. If you've got splines, it really is quite magnificent. So you can imagine, even on a mechanical side, if you had arrayed some rivet holes or bolt holes, if you were doing an aeroplane or some form of equipment where you need drilled holes, how easy it would be just by manipulating the curve. The holes will realign themselves automatically where you would like them with respect to that curve. Beautiful technology, and I hope that you can find a use for it. The path array, I like it very much. I hope you do as well, and that you can use it in your designs. Until next time, enjoy AutoCAD.